Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are Clark Skaggs and Tom Milligan with TKM Productions, new-ish theater company, which we'll talk more about here in just a second. But mainly what we're here to talk about is play at the brand new, the remodeled Amana Performing Arts Center called Leaving Iowa. First off, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
to be here.
Thanks,
Nice to have you both here.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you both. We still, even at this stage of the game, it's like, people I have not seen in person
2 years
for a long time.
Yeah.
It's so great to see your faces across from me and not on a screen. And that is also the case for live theater.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So the space in the Amana Performing Arts, that was the home to the Old Creamery Theatre for a long time. Old Creamery Theater's gone, but the space remained, and that created a little bit of a hole in the Amanas. Tom.
It did. When the Old Creamery left and closed down for good, finally, it opened up that space because it's still a great performing hall. 200, almost 300 seats. The building's still there, so it became available, and so. It's not only us as TKM Theatrical Productions going in, producing things, but it's open to the other people, music events. Like I said, there's a state duck calling competition going on there. So it's more of a performance hall rather than we just kind of are starting out being kind of the resident theater company there, but it's an open venue for other people to enjoy. And
you and your wife, Deb Kennedy, the K in TKM Productions, are, your company is, you've kind of done that just to give different productions that you've done in different places a name, but now you've kind of taken the plunge and have become an organization in your own right. So
we actually started working almost 10 years ago doing dinner theater at the Oxo again and various other places in Brooklyn and the Brooklyn Opera House, and it was kind of just on our own as freelance artists. And we decided that with the interest, everyone is really pleased that we're starting to bring shows back to Amana, and the support is really there. So we decided it was just maybe time to take that next step and incorporate ourselves. So we are now officially TKM Theatrical Productions Incorporated, a 501c3 not-for-profit, and we're ready to go in that direction. So it's a kind of a new beginning to an old company, but we're really excited to be here doing this.
Congratulations on getting all the paperwork done.
Yes, that was quite a bit.
That's a lot of work. Yeah. So, but most importantly, aside from the paperwork, the production is Leaving Iowa.
Yes. Yeah.
And Leaving Iowa, not written by an Iowan, I don't think.
No, it's not. And there are things in the show that you definitely know that they did their research on Iowa, and then there's occasionally a thing that says, these people have never been to Iowa. But it's show it's not necessarily about Iowa. It's just the family just happens to be there.
Okay.
That's where they're from.
All right. Clark, give me the capsule summary of what this show's about.
The show is primarily focused on the Browning family. Don Browning, who is coming back to Iowa to try to keep a promise for his dad, is interested in attempting to figure out what to do with Dad's remains. And so he collects those and starts a drive looking for a place to leave Dad's remains and starts reminiscing and reliving family vacations. And the family vacations are very, very humorous, and Don's plight and fight along the way to find that spot is a little bit humorous. And so, it's touching, it's comedic, it's a great venture.
So, this is, and the family, what's the family structure of this group?
Well, it's the mother and father, and then it jumps back and forth because you see Don as the son, and then there's also a daughter, a sister. And so you see both of them, and the mother, and you also see them all older after Dad has passed away. But then the majority of it is their experiences as a summer vacation in a car, which everyone has something to relate to with that topic. So it jumps back and forth. So it's an interesting show.
And to be honest, this is rapidly becoming kind of a lost.
Oh yes,
it's a lost experience because between people flying instead of taking driving trips, and now there are lots of ways that kids can entertain themselves on trips. You don't have the 5 hours in the car with mom and dad trying to figure out a way to keep the kids from climbing around on the seats.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things where these people are not on the interstate, they're on the back roads. So what you see is them visiting these little out-of-the-way places that really nobody else visits, but they're all very fun and very memorable if you were if you were a kid my age traveling in the 50s and the 60s with your family, that's the places that you saw.
Yeah, sort of written as a love letter to the baby boomer generation and all those family station wagons with the wood paneling on them. The people used to travel around in all the time.
Yeah.
Who's in the cast?
We have a great cast. Clark plays the son. I play the father. We have Marcia Hughes playing the mother. We have Sam Sheets playing the daughter. And then we have two characters who play multiple characters throughout the show. Lisa Margolin plays one of those multiple characters, and Joey Lapierre plays another character. So there's 6 of us in the cast. So 6 of us in the cast, but multiple people in the show that jump back and forth. And the multiple characters really have the load because they are running backstage, changing in costume, bringing something back out. But it's a really good cast. That's one of the nice things that we're able to do is hire people that from around. So we have Cedar Rapids, we have Iowa City, we have Amana represented here, and that's kind of our thrust of what we're trying to do is be inclusive of all those areas. So, and Deb's directing. Deb Kennedy's directing the show for us.
The people who are playing multiple characters, kind of fun little thing is that on the description in the book for the play, it tells you that it's written for 3 men, 3 women, but it says it can be expanded out to 26 people. So that gives you a sense of how many different characters those 2 people are playing.
They run into a lot of colorful folks.
Oh, yeah.
I think is what we can take away from this.
Very much so. Yeah.
Where did you first get exposed to the script?
The script, it was done at the Old Creamery Theatre when both Deb and I were there. It's probably been at least 15 years now when we did it. And so it was one of those things where it's the theater itself right now is kind of in a stage of just kind of reestablishing itself as well as the building. And so the facility itself needs a little work. So this is a show that's kind of wide open stage and suggested settings and things like this. So it really worked. But I think Deb was the one that kind of pushed it, and just because of the message that it says. I mean, it's that type of thing where, yeah, it's a memory play, but it's one of those things that lets you realize, yeah, the life was good back then, and we need to remember that, and we also need to remember how to laugh now. And this brings back a lot of those memories where you go, I remember that, and you'll chuckle over that. So it's been around before. It gets produced occasionally, but it's just one of those nice shows that we thought this is the style of show that we want to do as well.
Limited number of performances.
We're like I said, we are just kind of starting here a little bit, so we're being very conscious of what our budget numbers are and things like that. We did a show, we did Weekend Comedy back in May, and we had 2 really good houses back in May for that in Amana, and it's growing this time. We're doing tickets. We have our own ticket platforming set up, so they can go through that or go through. Most people are going through Deb for that. We're just being, as a production company, our effort is to do things right, and we don't want to overextend ourselves. And we've had people say, well, when can you do a matinee? Well, we've got that planned for next year. So we're in the developing stage and just staying within our limits right now, because we don't want to overwork ourselves, and these are good shows that we want good people to be in. So we're really conscious of what we're doing right now with the ability to expand in the future.
Leaving Iowa, just 2 performances, September 23rd and 24th, yes?
Yes.
At the Amana Performing Arts Center, just outside of Amana. All right, so I know we don't want to do spoilers, but we kind of talked generally about the theme. But if, think of a moment or, a character moment or a scene that you really like in the show.
I'm gonna leave this to Clark, because he has the majority of it.
Okay, yeah. What's one of your favorite moments in the show, Clark?
I think the driving tension between Mom and Dad, when Dad is the passenger and Mom is driving, is very humorous. And the moment in time when Dad realizes that he's going to take over the mirrors and the horn and everything else, and Mom's not having it. That I think that moment in there is probably one of my favorites.
It's wonderful playing up against Marcia Hughes. She and I've directed Marcia before back in the early days, but I've never been actually on stage with her. So it's a real pleasure to do that. And I'll tell you something else that for Deb and I is real fun with this, is that 2 of the people that are in the show, Joey and Sam, are kids that we worked with when we're in our 8th year of directing shows over at Clear Creek Amana High School. And now all of a sudden we have kids who have come through that program. Sam's at Mount Mercy studying theater. Joey's at the University of Iowa studying theater. And now we're using them and paying them to be actors and what they do. And it's so much fun. And we've done that this summer. Our summer camps were kids that we had worked with Clear Creek Amana. And there's just something gratifying about seeing these kids develop in an area that we have a passion about and watching them develop and be able to work with them as adults.
We have the same experience here at KCCK
Sure.
when we have kids who start with our jazz band camp when they're middle schoolers,
Right,
and then we get to
exactly,
see them in
yeah.
high school and college, and in some cases, now professional musicians,
Yeah, exactly.
working locally or on the west or east coast or something like that. Yes, it does kind of make you feel
Right.
that you are doing God's work.
It does, and we go back a ways, especially with Brooklyn Opera House last year. We have used, I counted up the other day, we've used 9 kids from Clear Creek Amana that have gone on and are now adults and working with us, and so it's just that it's very rewarding as an artist to be able to see that.
The show is leaving Iowa at the Amana Performing Arts Center, September 23rd and 24th. 2 shows only.
2 shows only.
So, limited run, limited number of
Right.
seats. So get your tickets. How do we get tickets?
The best way to do that is you can go online. There are several. We have a not a website, but we have a Facebook page, TKM Theatrical Productions, that you can go to there. There's a site there where you can order your tickets, or you can also order your tickets. I'm not sure what the number is. I'm sure you'll have it there. You call Deb directly, and she'll do that for you. So,
Okay.
so
All right.
Deb's
If you're watching the video, it is actually in a crawl underneath us,
There you
underneath
go.
our pictures right now.
I don't know Deb's telephone number because why do you know anybody's telephone number anymore?
We don't know. Yeah. Something else that has changed
That's
from the
exactly right,
days
yeah.
when this play takes
Yeah,
place is
that's
we don't
exactly
memorize
right.
telephone numbers anymore. But yes, we'll have that, and actually Hollis will have that phone number when he does the wrap up of the calendar right after we are done
Very
here.
good.
So,
Yeah.
well, good luck with it.
Thank
so
you.
great to have you both here in person in studio, and so great to have TKM back
Thank you.
producing shows
Yeah.
in Amana. So
Very good.
again, TKM Productions, Theatrical Productions on Facebook, or the phone number that we'll give you here in just a minute, and leaving Iowa September 23rd and 24th. Gentlemen, thanks for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or however you get your podcasts. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.